All right, we're recording now, so you can get started.
Okay. My name is Tammy White. I am a Senior Executive Director from Sanford, Florida, and I am just about a month shy of my 7th anniversary with 31. When I signed up, I did not really have a dream necessarily. I have 4 children, and when I joined, my youngest was 14 months, and my oldest had just turned 7. And so my oldest is about to be 14 here in a couple of days. And I really just needed a hobby. I needed something for me. I wanted to get out of the house. I had actually asked my husband if I could join a couple other direct sales companies. And he promptly told me no because we didn't have the money. And so then when this was introduced to me, he actually was the one that encouraged me to sign up. Because he thought, if I could give it a try, and if it didn't work out, at least got some bags out of the deal. And so I was encouraged to get 5 hostesses. And so I asked my sister and a couple of college friends, and over the course of the next couple of months, I had those 5 parties and realized that it was kind of fun. And I still didn't have a dream yet. I don't really know what I was planning on doing with my career. And then fast forward about a year after I had joined, we moved to Central Florida from North Florida in June after I joined. So it was just a couple months after I joined. Still, I did not plan to do anything. I went to my first national conference because it was here in Orlando. And so that was really when I decided that this was something I could possibly do with my life. And in fact, I had told Heidi, well, the person that sponsored me is Heidi McKee, and so I had told her, I have too much going on in my life, too many kids. I'm not going to do more than 1 party a month. And prior to that, I had recruited probably 12 people just because I didn't know what I was doing, but I just enjoyed it. And I spread the word and invited my friends to join me. And so then by December of that year, I promoted to director. So of course I told her I was only doing 1 party a month. And then I ended up promoting a couple months later to director. And that's when I really started to dream about the different things that could happen with my business. And it was really just in the beginning, it was, of course, to get me out of the house. And then it was fun money. And it was money to be able to go out to dinner and to be able to run to the store and pick up a new pair of shoes for one of my kids if he needed it without having to adjust the budget and make a big, to-do about where that money was going to come from. Then it started to grow bigger than that, and my husband and I started realizing that we had not ever purchased a home before, and so we started to look at homes and being able to put money away. And I think in the matter of about 3 months, we had saved enough money for a down payment on a house, which was really exciting, especially because we got married as 4 college students. My husband went to seminary, and we just didn't make any money. And then we had 4 kids all of a sudden and still weren't making very much money. And so this extra income that started adding to our household was just really fun, and something that I realized that I could contribute, and something that I could be proud of, and something that that we could do together. We could start dreaming together. And so actually, when Kaine asked me to be on this call tonight, I thought, I don't really know what my dreams are right now. So of course, fast forward 3 years from when I promoted to director, I promoted to senior executive director. And so in about 4.5, a little less than 5 years, I promoted to SEDs. And through a lot of hard work and lots of partying, people have asked me, what helped me get there. Consistent partying and relationship building was really where it was at. And so now I'm at this place where some of my dreams have become a reality. And so I have to kind of learn to dream again and see what those dreams are and some of those goals are. And I think right now for me, some of that just looks like continued financial freedom for the being able to contribute to the household income and be able to pay for bills to be able to take our kids places and go on trips and make memories. And my youngest daughter actually is on a little spirit squad at our school, and they've gotten invited to participate in the Orlando Solar Bears like halftime show, and so we have to buy the tickets to do that, and it's $90 for the 6 of us to go to that, which seems like it's not much money when you say $15 a ticket, but when there's 6 people in your family, that's, you know, a good deal of money. And today I was thinking it's nice that we can do that without having to feel the strain of where's that extra $100 going to come from to go for that that activity. So and something that I've really just been reminding my team and encouraging my leaders lately is, you know, we have this opportunity to make extra money. Like I can say I need to earn an extra $1,000 a month, and I can do that by having parties and dreaming and putting that out there. And there's no limit to what that looks like for me. So while I don't necessarily feel like right this minute I have this big, you know, dream that I'm working towards, I have a lot of little things that I've actually listed out yesterday and today that I want to work on and that I'm working towards in my business. So.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you sharing that. I know that sometimes, I know for me, and I'll go next, when I was working toward my dream, it took me a while to look up and realize I'd made it, you know, and not that I had made it, so to speak, as far as being the one who had, you know, arrived. I don't feel like I've arrived anywhere except just in a crazier life sometimes. But just knowing that, you know, I made it there. And hang on, it says my internet connection's a little crazy. Can y'all hear me? Can everybody hear me? Hey.
Your face is frozen.
I know. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So I'll keep talking now if y'all can hear me. Sorry. It just said my internet connection was unstable, somewhat like my life most days, you know, so, or my mind anyway.
Oh, you froze again.
You're frozen to me. We just need to start singing Let It Go, I guess. I don't know what it is. You know. So, okay, sorry. If y'all can still hear me, I'll keep talking. But for me, you know, my journey began 9 years ago. And I went to a party in October at my neighbor's house. I liked the stuff. In fact, I still have my very first product I ever bought, which was what eventually became the Keep It Caddy, Keep It Tote, I think. I don't know. It's had so many different names. It's crazy. But when I ordered it, it was the month after it had been renamed to something besides the diaper organizer. So that ought to tell you how long it's been. And I called it the Coat of Many Colors because it's a rainbow colored product. And it's sitting over here. I keep it here in my office to remind me every day of how it all started. But I went to a party at my neighbor's house. You can't really see it through my window, but it's pretty close from here. And I went and loved the products. Kind of thought that it would be, you know, fun to have a party. And I had 2 boys at the time. I still have 2 boys, but my 2 little ones. And I really wanted to not coach cheerleading anymore. I had coached cheerleading for 8 years, and I wanted to be just a teacher and not coach cheerleading anymore. And it just got to where that cheerleading schedule was so hectic and crazy. I didn't want to raise my kids in the gym, so I decided, you know, maybe I should do something else. I had my party in November, and it ended up being about a $1,700 party. I got all the great things I wanted for Christmas gifts. The main thing I wanted was the Hostess special that month, which was like a Santa sack thing that I just thought was the bomb.com. And I still carry it, and it's really funny because every year I always take my picture with it and put it on my page because that's why I started. even thinking about hosting was so I could get that bag. And then a few weeks later, after I hosted my November party, I decided after I got paid, because as a teacher, we just get paid once a month. So I'm still used to that as a 31 consultant as well. And that's when we just got paid once a month with 31. Now it's twice, but then it was just once. And I absolutely just decided, okay, I'm going to try this. I think I can do it, and I'm kind of a self-motivated person, so I wasn't really worried about that part as much as I was just hoping I could get some parties since it was Christmas. My kit didn't arrive until Christmas cutoff was already passed, so I didn't have any orders in December. So while I joined in December, I didn't actually start my business till the end of January. If we'd had Ready, Set, Sail that year in January, I wouldn't have made it, because my first party was January 27th of 2007. Our school secretary, she said she would have a party, but she told me to invite as many people as I wanted. We knew a lot of the same people, and what was so neat is I don't want to say I envied, but I was like, I just had a $1,700 party that I hosted, and I just thought, oh, please let it be, a $1,700 party at least, and it was. It ended up being about $1,765, I think. But one thing I failed to mention to you is when I decided to quit coaching, so did my husband. We both quit coaching the same year. And that was going to be a huge pay cut for us because we earned supplemental income by coaching. And so that year, the governor decided to give us a raise as teachers. We got a 7% raise. He was, campaigning, and he won, so he gave us the raise. And our first paycheck that I was so worried about not having enough money each month for not coaching was $113.62 or something like that. When I ordered my kit, that's exactly how much it cost, was what my overage was that I received as a teacher. What we made each month that was just over what we had been used to making was that amount for my kit. So I knew it was just meant to be at that point when I realized all the numbers worked out. And I didn't know that for several years. I went back and looked at it. But immediately with the business, I began to think about what it could do for our family. I had a supplement from coaching that was $3,000 a sport. I coached basketball and football, cheerleading. So that was, a hefty amount of money that I was going to lose by not coaching. And so I can say that in my first 4 months of 31, I made back what I would have made as a coach because it just took off like wildfire. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. It can really happen. It's actually going to happen, but I didn't really have a vision for what the future of 31 would look like for me and my family because I didn't know to visualize that kind of stuff then. As a teacher, I had lesson plans and stuff like that, but I didn't really I knew what I had to teach all year. So the vision was already laid out for me there. This is a business where you have to make your own dream. You have to make your own vision become a reality by working for it. And so whenever I realized that I needed a lesson plan or I needed an idea of what to do, my husband and I kind of sat down together. I'm going to stop and wave at Erin in a little bit for a minute. Hey, cutie.
Say hi, Aunt Kane. Hi, Aunt Tammy.
So sweet. But with that kind of come to Jesus meeting, I guess, between me and Donnie, it was like, okay, what can we really do with this? I told him, that I would love to quit my teaching job, but I didn't see it happening for a few years. I said, maybe in 5 years I can replace my teacher salary. Well, with 31 and the growth that we were experiencing at the time and the growth that I was personally pushing for, I actually matched my teacher salary in 2 years and was able to consider, it was like having a whole other teacher in my house who really didn't have to go to work, who was making this teacher paycheck. And I didn't even know what to think. In fact, we went to our accountant, who was this like good old country boy at the time. We had to switch later because for one, he retired, and for two, he just didn't get direct sales. But when we went to him and he saw my 1099, he said, well, you sold more than 31 of them bags, didn't you? And that's just how he talked. It was crazy. And we laughed, because I was like, yeah, I sold a few more than 31. And so it just kind of grew from there. And we decided, okay, what can we really do with this? We wanted to kind of set a goal to start paying off some debt. For one, we had lived in debt for so long as 2 teachers, we had to do something about it. So, we racked up debt every month because we didn't make enough to live with 2 kids. We did, but we also, made some poor choices about things. We wanted to go out to eat too much, which we still do, but still, we did it when we didn't have the money to do it. So that was a big change for us, actually having the money to do those things and to kind of pull ourselves out of that debt hole we were in. And that's kind of where we got started with that. It became a reality that I might get to come home from teaching. And about April that year, which was 2011, I told, we talked to our financial planner. We made a decision that I was going to come home from teaching. About 2 weeks after we made the decision, oh no, she's upset. About 2 weeks after we made that decision, the recruiting freeze came about. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was getting ready to tell the principal I didn't want to come back. And then, Cindy says, okay, we got to stop recruiting. And I just nearly hit the floor because I had wanted to come home. And then I thought, I can't do that if I can't recruit anybody else. Of course, we know, those of us that went through that, it didn't last too long. So we were able to kind of forge through that. And what was crazy is our team, and on our team, of course, on this call, Tricia is an SED in my lineage. Tammy is an SED in my lineage. And so we grew as a team that year from 2,000 in our total downline to 6,000. So the first year that we came home, that I came home from teaching, our team tripled. And I was so blown away by that number. I just couldn't even look at it when I pulled it up because I just would want to get sick because I was so overwhelmed. I mean, I was excited, but it seemed like a lot of pressure, I guess. So, but it inspired me to dream more. And so then I was like, okay, we've reached this milestone. Now what's next? And of course, the next logical step was, can I bring my husband home from teaching? We're both technically retired teachers because we are vested in retirement, but he had taught 19 years. And if y'all know anything about education, teachers are underpaid and overworked, but they're also taken for granted a lot, and more paperwork is piled on every year. There are more tests, there are more benchmarks to meet, there's more lesson plans to write. I mean, there's just so much junk that goes along with that. So if you have kids in school, you need to love on those teachers, let me tell you, because they deserve it. But with that whole situation, we just really needed to bring Donnie home and wanted to. Sorry, I have an unstable connection again. Here it goes. So I wanted to bring him home, and we just weren't sure if we could do that. So we started looking at our situation and decided it was a possibility. And so I'm happy to say that I have been home now 5 school years, and he has been home 2 school years. And all of that is possible only because of 31. It never would have happened had it not been for this business. But we also never would have had dreams like that. I always just thought I'll teach for 25 years, retire, and maybe be a Walmart greeter. I mean, I really never considered that I could come home, work in my office, that we built this detached garage, from nothing, from the dirt in our backyard. I never thought that would happen. I didn't have that vision for it all those years ago. And some days it still feels like a dream to me because I get to live the life that I want because of 31. I have 2 kids in school. One's in middle school, one's in elementary school. I've actually been able to start a PTO at my oldest son's school, which is where I was a teacher because I didn't have one. And I'm questioning my judgment every day on that, but I wasn't able to do that when I was a teacher. I never would have been able to do that kind of stuff. I haven't had to miss a Christmas party or a end of school party or anything during the year that they need. I've not had to miss any of that because of the dream of 31. I just want you to know, I can't express it enough, that when you're working hard toward that dream, look up and reward yourselves for the things that you have accomplished. I was very guilty of not doing that. For my first 5 years in the company, I was nose to the grindstone in my personal business. And it took me a while to look up and look around and say, I can say that I've known some of these ladies for a long time, but I wasn't your friend during that time. Because I didn't get to know you like I should have, because I just had that work ethic. Sorry, I hope I don't cry now. I didn't think I was going to cry. But I had that work ethic so strong that I didn't work on the relationship side of the business. Now I can truly say that is what I put first as my first priority. My dream in this business is to build more relationships, and good ones, the strong kind, the close friendships that I needed, that I didn't realize I needed. I'm friends with my teacher friends, don't get me wrong. But this is a different kind of relationship that I have with my team, that I have with other peers, that I didn't have as a teacher. We're all teaching in our own classroom, so we don't have time to be social with each other. And when we do, it's always about school, which is just yuck. It's not what we always wanted. And so I just want to encourage you, when you're working toward that dream, to stop and look around for a minute and realize when you've achieved it, because I didn't do that until a few years later. And now I look at it, I absolutely love what dreaming has done for us. But we still dream. And we were actually dreaming just a little bit ago about this almost $700 million lottery thing, We live pretty close to the state of Tennessee, so I think my husband went up there today and bought a couple tickets anyway, just in case, But, we started talking about all the things we could do with $700 million, which, of course, is just unimaginable. But honestly, with 31, I never imagined what $38,000 extra a year would do for us. And that's what it did that second year of teaching. That first year, just that very first year I was in, it was $14,000. And then 38. And then a huge jump to over $100,000. And it's just gotten better since then. So I can't even begin to tell you what an amazing thing it is to dream. But what more amazing thing that it can be is to wake up and realize when you've got there. So we're going to pass the torch on to Traci next, if she's ready. Ready, Traci?
Hey, but you froze, so I wasn't sure.
What? I froze again. Sorry.
Yeah, you froze, so I was like, do I start now? Anyway, well, I think I could be the black sheep on here because I'm not in Kaine's lineage, but I'm pretty excited to be adopted into it. So my
sisters.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody on this call are cousins or sisters, so we're good.
This is true. We might be second cousins twice removed or something. I don't know. But anyway, so my name is Traci. With 31. I started in December of 2007. And my story, as Kaine was talking, I was reminded many, many times why Kaine and I are such good friends, because my story is so similar to hers. I started in December and didn't do a thing until the end of January. I didn't know I was supposed to, honestly. And so my first piece of advice to anybody out there who is maybe new or is recruiting new people right now, hey, if you blow your starts well, it's no big deal. You can still be an SED. So I just had no idea what I was doing.
I didn't start well either. I didn't even know the thing, so.
I did, but it was this giant body bag thing that you could fit your body in. In fact, I took it to school, and we would put our kids in it, our high school kids in it, and roll them down the ramp. It was so big because it had rollers on it. So
yes, I was just about to say that. That was like, I did earn that, and that was fabulous. And to this day, I wish I did not Goodwill it years ago.
Yes, me too.
because it was, I mean, it was like a body bag with wheels on the end. Kaine's right. It was fabulous. And I also earned this black ladder that, like, really, you couldn't fit anything on it but our jar candles, which we sold at the time. So anyway, and I wish I still had that, but I digress. So anyway, so I joined in December. I earned, obviously, at least 2 start swells. And then eons later, in the 2013 catalog, that was the catalog that had the beautiful office on the front that everybody wanted to be their office. And yeah, so I was in that one. So woohoo. So let's see, what's my scoop? My scoop is this. I'm not a party girl. Like, I love to go to a party because I'm a fun girl, but like doing direct sales parties freak me out. Don't tell anybody, and don't tell anybody on my team. But they freak me out because I just have rejection issues. So I'm that girl that is afraid she's going to invite people and nobody's going to show up. So when I found out about 31, it was actually, I heard about 31 twice in one day. And like, if I believed in coincidences, that would be a big one. But I don't. I believe that God had a plan. And so I think I had a Vera Bradley piece. Don't tell anyone I had that either. But somebody came up to me in Tampa, Florida, where I was living at the time, and said, hey, you got one of those 31 purses? Well, I'd never heard of 31. I didn't know what she was talking about. So I said, no, moved on. Later that day, I checked my mail, and I had a good friend of mine who lived in Chattanooga, and she had invited me to an online 31 party. And I was just like, what is this 31 thing? So I went on the website, checked it out, and saw cute stuff, monograms. Now, let me just back up. I'm an Atlanta, Georgia girl, born and bred, but at the time I was living in Tampa. So I'm used to everything being monograms, but in Tampa, they don't roll that way. So when I went on the website, on 31's website, I was super excited to see cute purses, monograms, and then as I read a little bit more about the company, Jesus. So bam, okay, maybe I'll have a party. So I got brave and decided, okay, how many of you are going to have one of her starter parties? And I wanted to die of embarrassment because this was not anything on my plate. This was not anything I was thinking of. This is not a conversation that we had had. So I was bright red in the face, but still managed to realize that 5 of my friends had their hands raised. So I was like, oh, snap. So I quickly forgave her and signed up about a month later. As I told you earlier, I had my first party in the end of December. And my whole goal, you can't even call it a goal. I was so haphazard. I was so unfocused. I didn't really have a reason to work it. I was a teacher. And I was just kind of having fun, flying. And if I sold a person, great. But you and I both know that parties don't come knocking on our door, generally speaking. So when we were hit with a real need for extra finances, I began to look for another job. Now, again, I was teaching, but this was the end of the school year. So I really did not know what I was going to do for extra income. And then my sponsor said something to me that I'll never forget. She said, I don't understand why you're looking for a job when you already have one. And I had never thought of 31 as a job. I mean, I didn't work it as a job. I didn't even work it like a hobby. I mean, I was like a pitiful consultant. So I thought, oh, a job. So, all in the name of dreams and dream big. Disclaimer, I am not a dreamer. Like, I like my feet on the ground. I like to work in reality. So dreaming is scary for me. So I didn't I'm not a big risk taker. I didn't join 31 thinking, oh, the career path is fabulous. I'm going to make bukus of money and pay off debt. That's just not the way I thought. So when my sponsor said, you already have a job, I was perplexed, to say the least. So she said, if you will do what I say, you know, if you will really bring home a real job paycheck. So I said, all right, well, I don't have anything to lose. So the same thing over and over and over and over again. I mean, what I've learned in this business is there are no magic beans. What I've learned in this business is there isn't a magic formula. You just book, sell, recruit. But the key ingredient is intentionality. So I began to be really intentional, and that's when I really began to see my business grow. So shortly after that, we moved, and, you know, I wouldn't say I was a hobby. I was still in the early stages of setting goals and getting parties on my calendar. It was where I really began to work it. And that under my wings. And I was teaching at the time as well, and I was really burning my candle at both ends. And that's when my husband and one of my friends who had recently quit teaching ganged up on me. Yeah, because again, I'm not a dreamer. Does, and it's not like a set number every month. So that was scary to me. So when I say that they ganged up on me, I'm for real, not even exaggerating. I remember it well. It happened in a Sonic parking lot in Tennessee. And they made me get out my iPad and literally write right then and there my letter of resignation. And I was scared to death, but it was the best decision I ever made, because prior to that, like I said, I was really burning my candle at both ends. I was a Title I first grade teacher in the middle of the ghetto, literally. I was loving on these kids who didn't have a mother, didn't have a father. If they did, they were in jail. They were being raised by a grandmother. They would come to school filthy and starving. And I was pouring out my heart to them, as well as trying to teach them how to read and write. Then about 3:30 every afternoon, my own kids would come into my classroom and sit in a corner and do their homework while I continued to work on things like grading papers and preparing my lesson plans and filling out IEP information. And eventually we'd leave my classroom probably about 5:30 or 6. And then I'd go home, and while I attempted to fix something for dinner and I griped at my own kids for doing their homework, then eventually I would get everybody in bed, and about 8:30 or 9, I'd get out my laptop, crawl in bed, and I'd start on my business. I had no life because I had 4 full-time jobs, literally. So after I wrote my resignation, it opened up, obviously, this huge window in my schedule and in my life where I could really pick and choose where I wanted to dream and where I wanted to set goals and who I wanted to spend my time with and what I wanted for me. And it was really the first time ever that I could say, what do I want? Because I was going around life like this robot, just hitting check boxes. for what my school needs from me and what my principal wants from me and what my kids need from me. But really, nobody was really getting me. Do you know what I mean? I was so busy trying to do it all that I was doing none of it well. So when I eliminated stuff and clutter out of my life, I could really be a much better me and a much better director. And I can really relate to what Kaine said when she got choked up, because I feel like prior to quitting, like I said, I was trying to do everything and was doing none of it well. And I feel like I wasn't connecting with my team the way I wanted to or the way I could, because I didn't have time. And at the end of the day, there was nothing left of me. So since then, it has been my priority to work with my team, to connect with my team, to be really efficient and concise. And these are goals that I still have today. You know, my dreams now are, sure, I have big dreams like paying off my mortgage. We moved yet again. We lived in Columbus, Georgia, where my business really took off. We lived there for about 5 years. And then we moved, and then a year later we moved again. So the last 2 years, I would say, have been pretty hard in my personal business because we've been so transient as a family. We've also been dealing with some pretty big, substantial family stuff that has really caused me to focus more on my family, which is really where my focus needed to be. But I'm proud to say that even though I had, you know, permission from home office and even my home office coach, you know, maybe you want to consider taking a leave. I was like, nope, nope, nope. If it means I have to cut back, if it means I have to make different choices, if it means I have to set boundaries, different boundaries, and give myself permission to do a little less right now, then I will. But I will not take a leave. I'm not okay with leaving my team. Even though it's allowed and permissible given our circumstances, I just couldn't do it. So some advice I would give to you is, you know, life can really suck the life out of us. And it can really leave you feeling like you've got nothing. Yes, to a lot more. So my advice to you is, if you're feeling like life is, you know, sucking the life out of you, you know, I'm never going to give myself permission just to do the minimum, but sometimes we have to do the minimum 1 month, knowing that next month I'm going to make it up. Next month I'm going to do, let's say with 31, maybe this month I'm only going to do 2-3 parties. That's not my goal. That's not my dream. That's not my want. But this month, that's what I have to do. But next month, I'm going to do twice that, because I have a goal and I have a dream and I have a why. And I have things I need to pay for. And I'm a firm believer in, you know, people say all the time that comparison is the thief of joy. And although that may be true, for me, comparison can be powerful. For me, comparison can be a benchmark, and it can be something that can propel me. And when I say that, I mean, don't get on Facebook. Aside from promoting to SED, which was my long-term goal and dream with 31, but after 2 years of barely making it, so it felt like, and hitting, you know, just above my minimum and really struggling with what that felt like as a leader, but knowing that I was focused where focus needed to be, which was my family and my kids and some circumstances that we've been dealing with, that after 8 years, in November, I had my biggest month ever. This past November. So it's not too late. And, you know, God showed up again, because even though November was my biggest month ever, I turned around in December and I beat it. I didn't even do it on purpose, but I beat it. So I beat my best month ever in just 30 days. And no, scratch that, not 30 days, 10. Because we only had 10 days to do it in, right? Because that was the Christmas cutoff. And I'm ever before the outlet sale. And so it's not too late. Don't think, well, I've hit my goals, or I've hit my big goal, or that's it, I'm done, or my family's really going through something big right now and I just don't have anything to give. That's okay. Maybe you don't have anything to give today. Maybe you don't have anything to give this month. Give what you can, because you'll make it up as long as you are determined to make it up, as long as you're determined to believe, I'm not going to let anybody get in my way. These are my dreams, my goals. This is what I need. I need to get me back, and I need to get my joy back, and I need to get my fun back. So last year, my team had a retreat called Going the Distance. That was our theme, and it has stuck with me over all of the other retreats that I've done and gone to. Because going the distance means setting your goals and doing whatever it takes, no matter what. Be willing to go the distance. Don't let anybody get in your way. And don't let you get in your way. But give yourself permission to breathe along the way. If you need to breathe, breathe. But don't take that as a way out. So anyway, that's it. That's kind of my scoop. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Thank you. All right. Misty's going to go next, our NED, and she might need to jump off before we're finished tonight. So we're going to let her go ahead and jump in the next spot.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yay! Well, I just want to say thank you to Kaine for inviting me to join her call tonight. So this is something that we haven't done in a while. So I love seeing that it's something that you've done, and we've been getting started doing again. So thank you for inviting me, Kaine. But Kaine asked me just to share a little overview of my 31 story. So in case you have not heard me at National Conference before, but my journey actually started in 2005, and it was in February, and I didn't have a clue what 31 was, and I just thought that the catalog looked really super cute. And I have a twin sister, and on her desk was this 31 catalog, and I had asked her what it was, and she was telling me how one of her fellow coworkers, his wife, sold 31. Her name's Dawn Cleveland. And she was like, she's been asking me to have a party, but I just don't know that I want to. And for those of you that's met my sister, she's not as outgoing as I am. So having a party was just not something she was very interested in. But I was like, you should totally book a party. I ended up having a very successful party for her. I had $800 in outside orders. And so, yes, you did hear me right. It was $800 in outside orders. And then once we had the home show part, I had $400. So it was like a $1,200 show. And when I sat down with Dawn that night and found out that she had made $300, I was like, oh my gosh, that should be, my money. I had worked so hard at this party and made all this. And my husband and I were fairly newlyweds, and I thought, wow, $300, that will make my car payment. My car payment was like $330 every month. And if I could go do one show a month and make my car payment, who wouldn't want that? So that was my initial goal. My initial goal was, okay, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to do this. I have never done direct sales before, and I hate I was just so passionate about the products and wanted to give this direct sales thing a shot. And so I signed up, and like I said, my initial goal was, okay, well, if I'm gonna leave this house, and so that's where I sat down and was like, okay, well, that's 3 shows a month. I want to have 3 parties on my calendar. Car payment. And that's what drove me at first. But in the back of my mind, I always thought, wow, this would be really, really cool if this worked out and I could stay home one day when we had kids. And like I said, if you don't know my story, I am one of 5 children. And growing up, my parents had to work very, very hard and still do to this day. But my parents were always working so much to provide for my siblings and I that when I played sports, my parents didn't get to be there. Volleyball, it didn't matter what sport I was playing at the time. I always had to be the girl that caught the ride with the other moms who were stay-at-home moms, or at least moms who got off early. My mom had to work the 12-hour shifts at the local carpet mill, and she worked. So she never, hardly ever got to see me play ball, and it broke my heart because I would come out of school after, the school bell rings and you got your uniform on, and I had to go get a ride with some of my best friends' mom, and I was so jealous. And I don't think even to this day that those girls realized how blessed they were that their mom was able to be that carpool mom. I wanted to be that mom. The fall, I had promoted to director. So within a year, I had promoted to director. And by September of 2006, I had my first son. His name is Walker. And I was still doing 31, was, promoted to director, was making, some pretty good money. And I went back to work on his 4-month birthday, and I just cried like a baby. I was very upset that my baby was at home with my mother-in-law. I love my mother-in-law. I have a wonderful mother-in-law. But I was very jealous of her because she was at home making memories with my baby, and I wasn't. And so I sat my husband down and was like, Justin, this is how much money I'm making at my full-time job. And then this is how much money I am making with 31. And y'all, the paycheck was the same amount of money. It was $1,500 a month. So I could stay at my full-time job and keep doing 31 and bring home double the money, about $3,000 a month. Or I could, leave my full-time job, cut back on things that me and my husband really honestly probably didn't need. You know that if you want to do something, you can make it happen, but you've just got to make those unnecessary cutbacks. And so we decided that the best thing for us was for me to leave my full-time job. So when he was 6 months old, I left my full-time job and I came home to work 31 full-time, and I have been home with him since then. And like Kaine was saying earlier, I have never missed a single party at school. I get to be the homeroom mom that brings all the cupcakes to school. I get to be there for all of the holiday parties. I'm actually coaching his basketball team this year. And it's definitely something I've always dreamed of. And it's funny because when Kaine had texted me earlier and asked me to get on the call, I felt a little guilty because, my dream, I don't want to say my dream was so simple, but now that I continue to live my dream. My dream is still the same, but I find myself that I haven't created a new dream. And I feel like I really need to sit down and, decide what, I need to dream bigger now. God has certainly blessed me with this career. And like I said, never in a million years would I have thought that this would be the plan that God had for me. But, I still get nervous, and I don't want to say I question God, but there's definitely days where I asked him, what did I ever do to deserve to be in this direct sales company, be blessed enough to be where I am, and to be home with definitely need to create a new dream. So, Kaine, I don't really know what else to share other than, trying to get my dream across, but not drag it out as long as it could be. But sometimes I feel like I can't relate to a lot of people. Maybe you're my mom. Maybe you are in the position that my mom was in, and you're working those 12-hour shifts. Keep working your 31 business. Pray about your 31 business, and know that 31 was brought to you for a reason. Every single one of us on this call and every single person within 31 are brought to 31 for a reason. And so I just encourage you to, if you haven't created a dream, was the long-term blow my mind dream of being a stay-at-home mom. And like Kaine said, my husband still works. He works for the government, has an electrician job. But my dream, I said I didn't really have a dream, but we kind of do, was for him to be able to stay home. So that's my story, and like I said, I appreciate all of y'all being on tonight, and thank you, Kaine, for asking.
Well, thank you, Misty, for jumping on. We will start with Erin next. So if Miss Erin Putney and Miss Ileana, if she's still in the room, unmute herself there and let her take the floor.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you sleeping? Sorry, I know it's late at your house.
No, that's okay. No, Ileana went to bed.
So okay.
I'm by myself again. So my name is Erin Putney, and I have been selling 31. It'll be 9 years this year. I've never done anything for 9 years. So that's pretty cool for me to be able to say 9 years. I started in 2007 with no why, no real desire to sell anything. I just liked the bags. I thought they were cute. It was cheap, and I didn't want to pay full price for them. And my boys, who are now 9 and 11, names were Clayton and Parker. So you never saw anything with their names on it. At the time, my husband at the time, I kind of wanted him to be a little more accountable to those kids and do a little bit more. So I thought I could have some parties. None of that worked out the way it was supposed to. None of that worked out the way I wanted to, but it certainly worked out the way it was supposed to. So fast forward just a little bit, 2009, I got fired from my full-time job. I'm an accountant by education, and I had been at the same small construction company as staff accountant for 10 years. And I walked in to the office, and I sat down at my desk for the day, and my boss said, our relationship has ended, so that means you're fired. And so I left. And then as I was driving home that day, I can remember thinking, their bank's going to come take the house. Like, I'm not going to have a place to live. My husband's going to kill me, blah, blah, blah. And then when I sat down and kind of put it all on paper, I realized I was making just as much money at my full-time job as I was not really working very hard. So I decided I was just going to pour into that for a little bit. Well, almost exactly a year later, I came into the room and said, our relationship has ended. So I got fired again. And and then also right in that time frame, my mom's third husband left her for a woman that's younger than I am. So I kind of some gut shoes at that time. I wasn't overly trusting, and life kind of crumbled in front of me. And then this crazy thing happened. I had earned the leadership incentive trip. It was the very first one to Riviera Maya. And I had to call Julie Sutton and tell her that my husband wasn't coming with me and why, because he had left me. And I was mortified. Here I am sitting in this room with all of these people that run these businesses that are the most God-fearing Christian women in the world. And here I am, the divorced girl now. So I went and I took full advantage of the all-inclusive open bar while I was there. And I met some really fun people. And they know, I don't think I told them that until years and years later, but I really kind of credit them with saving my life. Heidi and Tammy and Courtney and Linda, I think one of them is here with us tonight. They took some sort of interest in me, and that one girl in the corner the only one without an accent, and you don't have one either, right? But
do you mean me? I don't have one.
That's not you, Kaine Story. You come in later. I kind of credit them with changing my life, and Tammy, the one who was just laughing, and Heidi, another friend of ours, went for a run one morning. I don't know who the heck runs when they're in Mexico, but these two idiots went on. And they came back, and I was drinking, and they were running, and they said, we prayed for you this morning. And I rolled my eyes at them, and I'm sure said something off color or swore at them, or said something. I thought that was kind of stupid, because why would you pray for someone like me? Look at me. I'm a hot mess of a human being. And I thought to myself, well, what am I missing out on? Maybe this whole prayer thing has got to it. And we left Mexico. I had a wonderful time with them, and I opened up to them about things that were sad for me in my life. And then when I came back, I thought, I'm going to put a little effort in this whole prayer thing. You know, I went to church every Sunday, actually, with my ex-husband, and I never really paid too much attention to it. And I thought, well, I pray or not, he'll come back to me. And that was my intention. And within that, I don't know, 6-8 month period, something happened to my life. Something that it's really hard for me to put words into what had happened, because my life changed. I discovered my worth when it comes to God. And it didn't happen the rest of my life. Good, bad, ugly. I was enough. I was worth it. Erin's always the one that cries. So I came clean. I came real clean. I admitted that I am a survivor of sexual abuse. Help and I need. Sorry, God didn't do it all. I'm a counselor too. And I remember thinking to myself as my story grew a little bit, the only reason that these people was because of 31. That was it. There was no way that we were ever going to be on the beach together ever again if it wasn't for this common ground. And those girls saved my life in more ways. They know that, but they make me pay for it every single time. So it gets happier now. Fast forward a few more months. April, really handsome, strapping Marine comes into my life and swoops me off my feet and marries me. And in 2000, so in 2014, Brian had been active duty military for 20 years, and when we were something for me. And I have our picture. He retired on September 19th. This is the retirement. Can you see it? Mm-hmm. This is our picture for his retirement. If you'll notice, our daughter's inside still. That was on a Friday. We had our daughter on the following Wednesday. And I took with 31, the opportunity that it gave me, the financial stability that it gave our family, was able to take him out of the field, and I'll be forever in debt. Able to bring my Marine home with me. So that's my story, and kind of my tips that I wanted to talk about a little bit. Be consistent with your business. If you sit down and you say, okay, this is the paycheck that I want to earn from 31, figure out a game plan. Go get it. If it's 3 parties a month, if it's 10 parties a month, if it's 40 parties a month, whatever it is, tell yourself, I'm going to do that, and be consistent with it. Do it every single month. If you haven't canceled, it's okay. Nobody's going to slap you. But if it's got to be 4, do 4. If it's got to be 6, do 6. Set some very achievable goals. I didn't have any goals back then. I think I didn't have any goals until I promoted to how to make goals. How many hours a week are you willing to commit to this business? Okay, and every single time we've come out on top. Trust her and trust 31. Use the tools you're given. Train yourself. Be trainable. Hold yourself to a standard that you're proud of. And do not compare your story to anyone else's, because mine's filled with tears, but lots of happiness in the end. And yours may be, wow, I just wanted to put the braces. They're both equally important. Something I struggled with for a long time was comparing my journey to somebody else. I would get on and I would say, well, this person's doing this person's having this training, and this person's having this kind of party, and I need to do this. And then guess what? I didn't do anything. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. We're all on an individual journey. And yes, it overlaps sometimes, but be present to you and yours. I love to look up at this little Zoom thing and see the faces of my friends and know that I've been in Kaine's living room before, and I've prayed with Tammy in her kitchen before, and those relationships but are everlasting to me and mean more than I could ever tell you. But I'm still on my own journey. Dream big, write things down, cross them off, use a checklist. Surround yourself when you're sitting working with. I wish I could show you I have half of the playroom. So this side is Xbox and Legos, and then this side is stuff. And I have a couple boards that I pulled things off of because I've done them. I've achieved them. This year, I would like to take a really great family vacation, and my husband and I would like to buy some property. I've set spiritual goals when I couldn't have even told you what that was 5 years ago. And share them with someone that you love. Share them with someone that you love. Share them with people that encourage you. Share them with people. Share your successes over this business and what it does for you. And share the opportunity. Just because someone may have different pants on than you do, or doesn't look part of a 31 consultant to you, share the opportunity. If you can see my outfit, I'm in my sweatpants and an old rusty 31 shirt. I certainly don't fit the mold of what I would go out through. So make sure you're sharing the opportunity with everyone. And at the end of it, have some fun. Enjoy what you're doing. Because the more fun you have, the more money you're going to make. And let's face it, that's why we're here. So that's it.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
I love you.
Such a powerful one. I love you too. And to finish out our night, we have the lovely, and Traci just posted, you look so sweet, like you're praying over there the whole time we're talking, Tricia. You're smiling and just listening. And
The double chin.
are you trying to tuck it in? I know I need to.
I am great fun.
Facelift. But Tricia's going to finish us up tonight with her story and also some business basics and a challenge for us tonight. So this will be recorded, of course, and then we can also share the challenge in print on our pages if we need to, and so you'll know what it is. So we'll let you get started, Miss Dewar.
I really loved hearing all of your stories. I don't know how I haven't heard all of your stories already before, because I've met all of you and I know all of you. And it just really makes me realize that even though that we're all different, we all still have kind of the same heart. We all have been in places and been in situations or been in jobs that were horrible. And we all just kind of want the same common goal, even though our dreams may be different than somebody else's. Anyway, my main focus tonight is just, you always have to go back. Even me, even Kaine, even Erin, even Traci, all of us have to go back, and we have to restart our business all the time. We have to focus on that book, sell, and recruit. If you don't have parties on your schedule right now, we have a new catalog that's going to be here in 3 weeks. We really want you to focus on booking towards that. You actually still have enough time to get in a big party before. And just to share a little bit about my story, I won't go into full detail because I know that y'all have to get to bed probably pretty soon. I don't know where you live, all of you, but anyway, I've been a consultant for 7 years. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years before that. I had worked as a mechanic before that. I was a mechanic for Caterpillar. I'd come home. Our facility was 150 degrees in the summertime, and I'd come home with grease and oil in every orifice. So be anything. I also raised my nephew. When I started with 31, I also was taking care of my elderly parents. So 31 was really the only job that I could actually do, or a direct sales job, but 31 was the only one I really looked at and thought, oh, I love that stuff. I wasn't really a makeup wearer. I wear a little bit more now, but back then I rarely wore any makeup. And I definitely really couldn't afford any jewelry, much less to sign up for that kit. It was pretty expensive. I'm just really thankful that God placed me with 31. I was a home office lead for Sarah Overman. I know that some of you know her. And I ignored her phone calls. She called me once and left a voicemail, and I ignored it. And she waited a couple of days, and I didn't really had a home phone, and we had the caller ID, and I didn't look at the caller ID, and I just picked it up, and she said, hey, this is Sarah from 31. And I was like, I looked at my husband, and I said, oh, crap. You know, and I didn't. Then I thought, you know what? Yeah, there was a reason I got on the website. I really kind of did want to know. And so we set up a meeting for her to come up and show me the products, because I really wanted to see them in person before I committed. And even with a $99 kit, I saved my birthday present to be able to get that kit. My birthday was in July, and I signed up at the end of August. So I had saved that $99. That was going to be my birthday present. And I'm just really glad that she didn't give up on me, because I know many times that where I've had a home office lead, or I've had somebody interested in a business, and I didn't call back a lot of times, actually. And if she wouldn't have called me back that second time and wouldn't have had just a little bit of nerve to I know that she felt my eyes rolling. It wouldn't have been for that, I wouldn't be here. And when Kaine told me, we all compare ourselves to each other. When Kaine told me, or when I saw we all got a message on Facebook, and she had added all the girls, all the other SEDs, and I messaged her. Aside from that, I want to be that. I want to do that. It still doesn't fit my life right now to be able to do that. But I just, again, I get caught in that cycle as well as comparing myself. But I want you guys to start dreaming. We, along the way, no matter where we're at, sometimes we forget to do our dreams. We need to make sure that that's something that we maybe do every January. Refocus on what we've done, or focus on what we've done and reflect, and then make something for the new year. There's some girls who do business plans and all that, and that's great. But I'm more just a visual learner. I still do the dream board thing. My dream board's a little bit prettier now. The first one was just a poster board, and with my scissors I cut out things. But I just did a new I've been so many places because of 31, and taken my family to so many places that we would have never gotten to go. We had been married several years. Scott and I didn't even have a wedding when we got married. We kind of just went, and my cousin was a minister, and he did like a little ceremony. It was just me and him and the boys, and so we never had a wedding until 31. Thankfully, they provided that on that Mexico trip, the first one. Right now, though, my dream is I have my next vacation in mind. I don't really go for I'm not looking yet right at like Europe or things like that. I'm looking at experiences that I can show my children. This past summer, we went on a 14-state camping trip, basically. And I've never been a camper either, but now, that did end up being pricey, I'll tell you, because gas was not as cheap as it is right now. It cost me $1,200 in gas, just in gas. But I can plan that out. And even though we already have things going on for spring break, I want to look at the summer, what I want to do with the kids for the summer, and be able to plan another road trip. I'm not for sure what I'm going to do. I have a whole list of things. There's a website. It's called roadtrippers.com. And you basically can go on there and you can think, okay, where again, I know that spring break is just in a couple months, so you probably already have that one taken care of. If not, plan that one. But plan your next trip and visualize it. And I want you to be able to take note and share with us all. Everybody that's on this call, I want you guys to share. Kaine has a downline lineage page, and even if that, I mean, if not that, then just tag us on Facebook or messages on Facebook or send us an email. However, but there's things that I want you to do. I want you to figure out where you're going. When will you go? You have to figure out what date you can go. If you have another job, you may have to work around that and figure out how much vacation time you have left. Who's going to go with you? How will you get there? Are you going to drive? Are you going to need plane tickets? Where are you going to stay? For us, we'll be camping again when we do our, it'll either be a Southwest thing for us, or we may go down to the Keys and camp all along the Keys. So I don't know yet. I'm a little scared of alligators. And it's a tent camp. We don't have a big motor home. We're doing the real stuff, really.
I'm more afraid of bears down there. I know Tammy said they've had some bears in their area.
I'll be getting my carry permit for sure. Anyway, okay. And then once you're there, what activities will you do? And then you need to figure out the total cost. So you can take over the weekend or whatever, but I want you to plan it. Something else besides, 31 offers you the leadership incentive trip, and that's an awesome trip. You can take that one totally for free. But this is something that tugs at your heart, whether it be with your girlfriends or with your kids or with the honeymoon with a husband. This is something that really, I think that sometimes that, even though I love Riviera Maya, I love Dominican Republic, there's places I want to go that my kids have not seen yet, and that's just my driving force. And then the last thing, as Erin said, you need to tell somebody. Who are you going to tell? Who's going to hold you accountable? Those are the main things in my little challenge for you, but I want you to take this weekend to think about it, to think about what you're going to do. It may be something like we're doing, something off the beaten path or whatever, but Road Trippers is a good site because no matter where you're going, along the way, it'll show you. I mapped out from Knoxville, Tennessee to Phoenix, Arizona, or to the Grand Canyon, actually. And I can change the route to go any way I want to. Like I could go down to New Orleans, and it'll show you it'll show you camping spots, hotels, it will show you attractions or geographic features or places to take pictures, which kids love to do that. It's kind of dorky, but kids love to get out and take the dorky pictures with the big crow sitting behind you or things like, the big ball of yarn thing. But there's places along the way that it'll tell you every little thing in cities that you plan to stop in. But anyway, it may not be for everybody, but I just think that that's just something great to do. And it may not be across the country. You may not want to go for a whole week or two, but figure out what it is you want to do and share with us what you're going to do. Okay? And that's it. That's really all.
Yay. Thank you so much, Tricia. I know we are getting closer. We went over our time, but we didn't really have a time limit technically for this meeting because we knew it was going to take a while. We wanted to hear so many stories. I appreciate each of you ladies, Tricia, for inspiring us for a road trip. So I can't wait to see what we'll get to talk about there as far as what kind of trips we want to take. I thank you, Erin, for being so open and sharing your story, and Traci for sharing yours, and Tammy for sharing yours, and Misty, I appreciate you jumping on and sharing with us tonight too. And I just can't say how blessed I feel to know each one of you, and to have the honor to call you my friend or call you my teammate, my sister, cousin, whatever we are in the 31 life. So we hope tonight has been an inspirational thing for you. We be a recharging. I said, I think we need some jumper cables for our road trip, Tricia, for sure. So we're trying to get our businesses really jumping and back on the right track where we want to be, and getting our jumper cables ready, getting our emergency kit ready, but most importantly, getting ourselves ready for this new journey, because it's going to be phenomenal this year, ladies. And I can't wait to see your big dreams and how you accomplish them in the year to come. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a good night. See you later.
I can't do a heart.